everyone, it's Annika again, and today is a video requested by Abigail. She's asking for tips and tricks for the Ielts exam, so here I am to share my experience and some tips and tricks to help you guys. So I'll be honest with you guys, I've been speaking English since I was born. Even back home in the Philippines, I would speak English to my friends and family, and I just grew up speaking English. So I wasn't too worried about the Ielts exam, but it was actually quite surprising for me. So I took the exam the same time as my friend who moved to London, the same time I moved to Canada, and we were both worried about the Ielts exam. But she actually has been speaking English since she was born too, so I was like, we shouldn't worry about it, like it should be fine. But we did some reviews, and I was kind of surprised about how the test went. Okay, so first, the test has 4 parts. You have your speaking, you have your listening, you have your writing, and you have your reading. So for the speaking part, honestly, the best advice for that is to keep talking. So they're gonna ask you questions like, where do you live? And you have to talk for 2 minutes. So you have to be very detailed with what you're gonna say. So you can say, I live in a 2-story home in the south of Metro Manila. It is located in front of a church that is next to a park where I can just cross the street and walk my dog. All of that. Like, you just have to keep talking and be as detailed as possible. You can't just give your address and say, I live at blah, 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 street, city, location, whatever. You just have to keep talking. In my case, I remember my question was something about the fashion industry and sustainable materials. So the thing is, like, the IELTS has 2 kinds of exams, right? You have your normal test and you have your academic test. And in applying to the schools here, you had to take the academic IELTS. So I had the academic IELTS, and they asked me a question about the fashion industry. Basically, I just said that I love shopping. These are the brands that I like. This. And like, normally, like, I don't really look at the impact of the clothes that I buy. Like, it's mostly like stuff that's in trend. If this is what I want to wear, this is this. And I actually used up more than 2 minutes. So after the 2-minute period, they're gonna just cut you off, which is good. It's a good sign. It means you can communicate. So my tip for speaking basically is just practice talking to your friends. Keep on thinking about details that you wouldn't really say, but you notice. Like, for example, if the question is, where do you live? Then think of your house. Look at your house as if like you're outside your house and just looking at it. So be like, I live in the south of Metro Manila in a 2-story duplex. It has a garage that fits 3 cars. There's a black gate that covers this garage, and upon entering the garage, there's 2 aquariums that holds the fish of my dad, blah, 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 blah. Like, stuff like that. Just pretend like you're walking into the house and just explaining what you see. And if the question is academic, then think about your journey. Like, make sure your imagination goes wild, because when I was asked about the fast fashion industry, I just thought about my consumer journey. Like, what I do when I enter the mall and I want to buy something. I go straight to H&M, I go to Zara, I go to wherever, and I'm just like looking at these pieces of clothes, and I explained that journey, and then my thought process as I'm buying those clothes and how that impacts like sustainability as a whole, you know? So that would be my tip for speaking, but don't worry too much about speaking. Honestly, you can do it. Filipinos speak English very well. We can do it. So the next one would be reading, and reading is kind of like an exam. Like, you know, when the question is so long, the tip in the exam is always read the last question, the choices, and then try to skim through the whole question looking for the answer. They're gonna make you read like a story, and then there's also gonna be another thing. I'm trying to recall what my question was. I think I had like 5 questions, or was it 10? Just use the exam trick when you're doing reading. Like, just read the last question, read the choices, and then skim through the question looking for the answer. So that would be my tip. And the third one would be listening. So they're gonna make you listen to a passage. For example, I'm reading through something like, I took a walk in a park. The park's name was Willow Park. I saw a dog walking with its owner. I said hi. The dog's name was Casey. Casey had a bright pink jacket on and yellow shoes. She looked very tired, and her owner grabbed a jug of water that could hold up to a liter. So stuff like that is what you'll be listening to, and after you listen, they'll be asking you questions. What was the name of the dog? What color was the jacket of the dog? What was the name of the park? How big was the jug? So if you remember all of those things and you're able to answer those questions, you should be fine with listening. And you will have a piece of paper and a pencil where you can write down those things just to remember. They're basically just checking how good you understand English. And the person speaking does speak English very well. There is an accent. It's a very thick American accent, and I think it's fine. We watch a lot of English movies. We read a lot of English books. It should be fine, okay? Don't worry too much about that. But what I will really want you guys to study is writing. I am not the best writer. I like writing, but I'm not a great writer. I think I'm more of a speaker when it comes to English, but Writing was kind of tough, especially for the academic IELTS, because they gave me a graph that I basically had to write something on. And I'm very talkative, like I am very talkative, obviously. And I just did not know what to write about that graph without any context. Like, I think it was a graph about gas, like some scientific chart, and there was just like a one-liner explanation as to what that chart was. And I really didn't know what to write about it if I had no context on what the study was. But I felt like I was kind of overthinking the whole situation. I could have just written something about the data that I saw, like, oh, it shows the impact of this versus that, whatever, but I didn't. And I scored the lowest in writing, and that made me really sad, but also like I passed anyway. Like I got a really good grade with IELTS. So if there's anything that you should worry about, I think it's writing for the academic IELTS, because they will ask you like academic questions and you have to write something about it in like 10-15 minutes, I think. And what do you write if you have no context? But that's just for me. If you guys are great at writing and if you're good at this, then that's great. I think if there's any like general advice I should give about the IELTS is strengthen your weaknesses and make sure your strengths are strong. So my strength is speaking, and I felt like it was strong because I did that imagination thing, right? Like as I was talking, I was just like going through it in my head and just trying to say every little thing that I saw. And my weakness was writing, and I did not super study on writing because I was like, what am I gonna write? But I scored the lowest there. So if you are great at writing, then just brush up on that. But if you are not as strong with speaking, then I encourage you to keep talking to your friends, your family, or talk to me. Talk to me. I'd love to chat with you guys. And for reading, like, you just have a couple minutes, so please take my advice. Read the last sentence of the question, read the answers, then find the answer in the big question, because it's gonna be a long paragraph. And for listening, just write it down. I swear to you guys, don't stress too much about the IELTS if you speak English already, if you know how to speak English. I know you can do it. Filipinos are great at speaking in English, so it's going to be fine. I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. I'd love to get back to you. Thank you again so much for watching this video. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope that you get really good grades in your IELTS. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!